The Book of Unlimited contains the complete history of Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball. The beginning, the journey, the record performances, and the champions. This year, the Great Book records the closest championship chase in AU volleyball history. The champ and the challenger separated by less than 200 points. Behind them, 8 players poised to do battle for podium positions. 27 matches played, nothing decided. Join us as we crown a champion. The final weekend of AU Pro Volleyball is written next. Welcome to Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball Champions Week, presented by Baden. Here in Mesa, Arizona, it all comes down to this. A look at our leaderboard as match number 1 of 6 gets underway. Team Kingdon Rischel and Team De La Cruz Mejia meeting as the kickoff. Top 2, it is a 2-woman race to the end. Right behind, there are 8 women vying for those 2 other podium spots. Available, of course, the awards for the postseason also at stake. Welcome inside once again for the final weekend. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Key Michael. Key, here we go. What are you following entering this match? What's the most intriguing line?
Well, I love that we have a first-time captain versus basically a full-time captain in Betty De La Cruz. And we know that her teams are used to getting stolen. She has to come into the draft with a strategy every time. However, she's brought back some of the best servers in the league. So for Maddie, if she wants to take fate into her own hands, she has to take care of that first contact.
Focus on that first-time captain. I'm surprised it took her this long to get in the chair.
Yeah, it's about time. We've seen her on the leaderboard, picking up stats. We've seen her doing everything she can in her individual performances all season long. But after 3 weeks, she finally landed herself on a team that got those much-needed win points. But if you're going to be sitting in the captain's chair for the first time ever, week 5, it's the time to do it. However, has she put together a team that can get those win points, keep her in the top 4 by the end of play on Monday? Well, only time will tell. Today's the test.
And on the other side, the full-time captain, the queen, Betty De La Cruz Mejia.
Betty has a knack for putting together some winning teams week over week, but come Tuesday morning, those teams get ripped apart at the draft. This week, however, we see the return of the powerful Betty-Lecator combination, and this could be the spark that she needs to get back on top. It's that Batman-Robin duo, the frenemies that are back in action together. I think this team might be the strongest that we've seen since week 1.
Going to add back another key piece here, but Betty De La Cruz Mejia has also put Manami Kojima back on her team. That is comfort zone time. What effect do you think that has on opponents, those 3 passing together?
Well, that's the thing. You have to bring back what you're used to. This is week 5. This is the time to get those win points. And I think the teams, they're trying to start to figure it out. Where do you serve? I'd go straight for Lecator right now.
And we're underway. Sydney Hilly actually hits Kojima. That is a perfect pass. And Dixon is stopped once, but the front row setter is not to be stopped. That's Alicia Childress picking up the points.
Childress, another one of those returners. 6 returners from week 1. You got Betty, Tori, Lecator, Kayla, Manami, and Alicia. So those 6, like you mentioned, that comfort they have together, it's going to be crucial here.
Tori Dixon again having a quiet, exceptional season. That ball passed just by her. Kat Bell with the dig. Hilly outside. Johnson is blocked back. That's Caffey. Plus 12 for that block. That's an individual points awarded.
Caffey's one of those players I had my eye on at the beginning of the season. Went a little quiet in the last few matches last weekend, but has so much physical ability, so much potential here.
Poked over the top. Smart shot from number 19. That is the captain, Maddie Kingdon Rischel.
Ooh, Captain Kingdon. It's got a ring to it. I like it.
Stop there. Captain Kingdon.
Yeah.
Back to serve. The now 31-year-old outside hitter, 6 feet tall. Played her collegiate ball in Tucson, originally from Phoenix. This is, in fact, Team AZ Fear. Overhead. Just wide by another Arizona native, Willow Johnson.
Willow Johnson plucked off the board. She was someone who had great work with Betty last week. They were an excellent duo, and Johnson has said before she learned a lot from Betty. They have a really special connection, so she's happy to play for Maddie. It even has a little bit extra something on it that she gets to play against Betty in this first match.
All 3 pins for Team Kingdon-Rishel are in fact from Arizona, the third being Brooke Nunaviller, who is in the front row right now, middle front. As we get our first look at middle with Kayla Hanline, who's been one of those risers throughout the season. Good touch on the block, and Rosenthal can't quite get there on the defense. Dela Cruz Mejia with the early lead. We'll play 3 sets as we have throughout the season. Glad you're with us here for championship weekend. So Tanya Dela Cruz steps back to serve 17 aces on the season. The record is 18, set by Betty in 2022. Perfect pass from Lake, another delivery to the middle. Bump set from Lake, she pulls it overhead. And that tip will go down. No, it will not. Another pickup by Childress. Kingdon-Rishel getting it out of the back row off the dig. She 2 tips. Johnson right side, no. Extended rally. How's your cardio, Key?
I mean, I'm breathing heavy just watching.
Nice cover by Lake. Here comes Johnson. Third attempt. Tipped over the top, and that one finally finds the Terraflex.
That took a lot. That took a few minutes more than expected on both these teams. Now, if that's not an indication of how tight this match is going to be, I just don't know what is.
Johnson back to serve. Arizona native, Oregon for college. Into the middle, bounce you very much. Kayla Caffey.
Woo. Yeah, get more Caffey, please. Much more Caffey in the offense, because that's what she's capable of. She has that in her toolkit. If the blockers give her too much, she will take it all day long.
Yeah, that's a full calf, not a half calf Caffey. Good pace to the outside for Nunaviller, who chisels off the edge of Kat Bell. That'll be +8 for that kill for number 3. Brooke Nunaviller had a very successful offensive outing in week 4.
Yeah, she's been one of those players. Everyone keeps their eye on her. She's got every weapon. She's defensive, offensive. She's one of those players that is an all-round superstar. We saw her as a captain of her own team. Now, big part of this, Maddie Kingdon-Rishel.
Kill on the right side for Kat Bell, and I had a question. Do you go to her early after a rough week 4? She was 35th in points, hit just 157. Those numbers way off where she's been at times throughout this year.
They were off, but I think she was on Betty's team, and she really excelled there. So I think this combination with having 2 very strong attackers on the pins, she's got Lekator, she's got Betty on her outside spots. I think that's her comfort zone, is when she doesn't have to be the go-to point scorer every time.
Hanlon snuck that one through the cable and nearly down. Bell chips it, smartly done, right in front of Johnson.
And to answer your question, absolutely, feed Kat Bell. I think she has a lot of potential, specifically on this Orange squad, but just in general, she's a confidence player. She likes to play, and I spoke to her before the match. She said she wants to win specifically for Betty right now. She's feeling the focus is get those points, get Betty at the top of the table.
Bell with some defense there. That +5 might help. Betty in transition, picked up by Kingdon-Rishel. She pulls to the outside and goes high line. I spoke to Maddie right before the match. She said, a lot of setters try and set me fast, always fast. I need a little bit of loop on the ball. I can still get there quickly, but I need some height to maximize what I'm doing. And she really enjoyed working with Natalia Valentin Anderson last weekend. And so I think Sydney Hilly can deliver a similar type ball. Betty down on the tip coverage. And that ball into the net. That'll be an error for Lekator member Manet.
It's interesting you say that about Nati, because I'm always looking at that draft pick and sort of the order of things. And Maddie was ready to take a setter in her 3rd pick, and immediately right before her goes Nati. So then she had to make a decision who she's going to take. I still like this choice in Sydney Hilly. I think her height also is always an advantage. She's got a lot of weapons that cannot be kind of taken advantage of in different areas. She has a little something everywhere.
Well, Betty's taking advantage of the block there, and that was a big block too. Rosenthal next to Johnson, but Danya did not care. It's like the honey badger on that play.
She just does what
Yeah.
she wants.
If you find her eating a snake, you know for sure she's the honey badger. Lekator out of the back row, explosive.
That's what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I'm going to see more of. We're all going to see more of on this match is these 3 orange pins, and you can see it perfectly there from the end line. You got Betty outside, you got Cat Bell on the right side, Lekator coming straight up the middle. Blockers do not know where to go.
60-mile-an-hour attack out of that middle back position as Rosenthal cleans up the next opportunity for Kingdon Rishel to get a side out. That will send the captain to the back row in the service line. We were talking about picks. I thought that the pick of Willow Johnson by Team Kingdon Rishel kind of put Team Dela Cruz off their plan for a moment in the draft.
Yeah, 100%. She was kind of snagged early days. She was I believe the first pick of Maddie Kingdon Rishel. So taking an opposite first as an outside, you know, Kingdon Rishel definitely wanted to get that strength on that pin on that opposite side from her.
Manami Kojima, as she's done all year, picks that one up. Betty trying to go sharp inside, misses the hands and the court. Attack errors, -12. Those can be costly. Service errors. An interesting calculation on how much risk you should take. There is an ace right there. So you get 12 for the ace in the point system. Service ace is 12. Service error is -8.
And here's a perfect example why you target Lekator. She was one of the weaker links last time she was together with Betty. Strength in the offense, but certainly a target in the reception.
Cat Bell works off the hands. No, she does not. She thought she did. So the question here is, was it hands into the antenna, or was it antenna into the hands?
My first instinct was exactly the way you called it, worked off the hands into the antenna, and it looks like that has been the official call change now.
It was confirmed, and now there's discussion here between Maddie Kingdon Rishel and the facilitator, her employee, if you will, Dave Rubio, her former college coach, now working for his former player. And we will have a challenge on that play, so we'll have a definite determination. Hopefully the net camp has some information here. Facilitator role, an interesting one here, one that the players wanted to have. They like having coaches present to rely upon for certain things. And Maddie said, yeah, with Dave, I just gave him all the things to do.
Yeah, I'm sure they have great communication. However, my question is, there was a little bit of a breakdown because the team named themselves Maddie's Baddies, and Dave understood that to be Maddie's Patties. So he posted that on his Instagram, and now they're going by Maddie's Patties. So my question to Dave, which I wish I had gotten before, did he mean like a burger patty? Did he mean like a pat on the back? Did he mean like the name Patty? So where was this coming from? That I need to know.
A feisty peppermint patty?
It could be any of these.
Yeah.
But now that's their team name.
Unsuccessfully challenged. That one off the block, off the antenna. And that sends Betania Dela Cruz back to the line. Kingdon Rishel slides in front. Good pass. That one tipped a little too high. Good opportunity here. Full run out of the back row for Rishel, and she terminates. Sends a souvenir skyward.
So my question now is, how much does Hilly just start relying on Kingdon Rishel? Because we've seen her absolutely go off, bombs away when she's in that role where she has to score a lot. Does Hilly recognize that and just feed her?
As you predicted, Key, they are working on Lekator member Monet in the reception. It causes enough problems there that she is hitting the ball out of bounds, and Team Kingdon Rishel has their first lead.
I wonder if Manami could maybe shift over, take a little bit more responsibility in that court. She's a fantastic libero, and then Betty on the other side could take much more as well.
It's that middle linebacker position, head of the defense for the libero, as Cat Bell goes high, deep corner.
And you saw on that serve, they then were trying to go short on Lekator, change things up on her, get her a little bit on the back foot. A good pass, though, a good response, and then the offense opens up.
Kathy hits that one well long. So here's the interesting thing with serving. Betty has 17 aces on the season. She also has 23 errors. So you might wonder, what does that play into? Well, it's 20 points to the positive overall. And I was wondering how that was affecting the championship chase, as that ball is passed too low and set too low. Kingdon Rishel tries the chisel, gets a reset. Inside for the winner. So Brittany Abercrombie has 7 aces, but only 5 errors on the entire year. And you might think, oh, that'd be a lot better, wouldn't it? It's only plus 44. So the difference is 24 points.
Which is nothing.
All of that, which is nothing in the overall championship chase. Lekator off the block, out of bounds. So it's not as impactful as I thought it would be.
Right. The thing I think with the serving that you maybe don't see on the board, you can't see it in those stats, is how tough you serve can affect the entire rest of the game. So I love looking at the stats and thinking plus and minuses and points here and errors there, but you want to set a tonality for your team, and I think that's what Betty and Lekator do really well with their tough serving, Abercrombie as well. I don't worry too much about the errors, I just focus on aggression.
Technical timeout. When we come back, we'll break down the leaderboard with Savannah. Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball is sponsored by Baden. Special moments shared throughout this 5-week season that began with preseason for all of these women in a volleyball fraternity, as it was described to me this morning, or sorority if you want to get exact with your Greek references. 15-13 here in set number 1. Team Kingdon Rishel on their maiden voyage against Team Dela Cruz Mejia. With a little leaderboard breakdown, how does it work? How do you get up or down on that board? Here's our own Savannah Collins.
Well, right now, as we're heading into week 5, I feel like there are 2 races going on. The first race is for the championship. That's between Brittany Abercrombie and Betty De La Cruz. I put them in their own category because they are over 800 points ahead of everybody else. So these 2 are in a category all of their own this season. Then you have 3 all the way through 10, which I argue to say that 3rd and 4th place medals could go to any of these athletes right here. Here's why. So 3rd place is only separated from 10th place by 242 points. That is light work. Just to put it into context, when it comes down to win points, the median win points every week for any athlete is about 260 win points in 3 games. The highest we've ever seen is 460. Now the absolute lowest, and this has happened twice, is 80. So when you think about this number right here and who could end up 3, 4 and leave this season with a medal, a lot of these athletes are in the race, but here's one little stitch to put into it. it is very difficult to pass someone you're on the same team with. So these purple athletes, they move up and they move down the leaderboard together. Same for orange, same for blue. So when it comes to taking over and moving into those medal spots, you have to do it with your team, and you probably need to be in the top group already.
Yeah, it's a great look at that. We can dive into it if you're kind of a math nerd. This is really fun to see who can possibly get on top of whom with the different results. And some of those errors and team points, coupled with individual points, may come into play if someone has a really exceptional match. Great breakdown, Savannah.
Yeah.
She is the expert when it comes to the leaderboard.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point Savannah makes there about what jersey color you're wearing in the final week is almost more important than anything you've done up to that point. Because as you mentioned, look at those purple, 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 or the orange, orange. They can't overtake each other. So I almost argue that it's worse to be in a captain spot in week 5 than to just be on a winning team. So someone like Lekator, who was a captain last week, now she's on Betty's team. If she just picks up the win point, she's in a better position than if she had put together her own team and lost.
Tipped over the top, but Tanya De La Cruz Mejia doing all she can to win this first set. Her side now back on top with that successful attack. 16-15. Remember, Monet still at the line. Another one of those big servers. An absolute blast. Nunaviller is up to the task. And that one is put down the line. Plenty good from Kingdon Rischel, who showed us something special last week.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal week after week after week. But now, have a look at her with Brooke Nunaviller. And this was to my point, is that the strong serving on Betty's side has to be nullified if Kingdon wants to get some win points. And Brooke's proving exactly why she was a solid pick for Kingdon Rischel.
Good bounce there for De La Cruz Mejia. Kind of caroming through Willow Johnson's hands. Our 2022 champion, Tanya De La Cruz Mejia. Part of the Omaha Supernovas this last year. Server of the year for the PBF. That ball banged off the defense. There's a lot of heat coming from this Kingdon Rischel side.
Yeah, Jenna Rosenthal just taking the ball at another level, basically over the block, but still that strength. That's kind of tough to do as well. If you're going to swing that hard, usually you see her swing straight down, but not if you got that kind of height.
Kat Bell going high flat, looking for fingertips, did not get them. Why is that an increasingly popular attack across the sport of volleyball, but especially in the women's game?
Well, you see the blockers doing a good job of putting up forehands in front of the attacker. So rather than swing down, rather than try to touch that block, the higher you swing, if you can just get a fingertip, chances are that ball's going way into the stadium and no one can recover it. That's an easy point.
No easy points early in this one. Finally, remember, Monet throws it over the top into position.
And there's another perfect example, right? She didn't have a chance to swing, so her options were go high off the hands into oblivion, or put a cheeky little tip and hope that you catch someone off guard.
Yeah, that was in position 4 for those of you yelling at your screen. I know. There's position 4 again. Nunaviller flying in for the kill.
Ooh. That one was spicy. You saw how much line she had there. And Nunaviller is someone who is pretty well known for her cross court. She loves that external rotation, but if you give her that much line, she will take it.
Serving super sub in. Taylor Bruns taking root. Had a number of scoring runs last weekend on her service. Kojima fights that one off. Betty right side. Tip to reset. Bell off the net. Where do you go? Row 1. The captain. Put it away.
Great speed from Alicia. And that question she's got to be asking herself over and over. When you have this many weapons on the orange side, who do you feed? But she's paying attention to so many things, what the blockers are doing, what's happened earlier on in the match. Of course, just feeding Betty is always a good part of the plan.
Could this be a Bethany De La Cruz Mejia kind of moment? Tied at 19, set 1. No ace this time. Johnson. High, over, not in, immediate challenge.
I love the storyline that she was plucked off of Betty's team and now trying to prove, I mean, it was a good reason, for good reason, that she's taken. Betty always saying, you know, players, they tend to excel on my side and then I lose them, but I don't care. I have plenty of other players to choose from. I think that's what she said to you in her response in the draft. And Willow, one of those players that was absolutely ripped off her team.
Ball being challenged as in, originally called out off this attack by Willow Johnson. Deep towards the line, and that is really close.
Looks like it got maybe a little tag at the line. Tough to tell, but the swing itself, high, deep, avoiding the hands of the blockers. I think that clips the line.
RR2, Julie Boak is in the replay booth.
And this is an important one, right? Look at the score line. If it's 19-20 one way or the other way, that's how you're heading down the stretch into the business end. I like to call that, once you're above 20, that's the business end of the set. And if you're taking that advantage going into it, that's huge.
And that ball confirmed out, which also keeps Bethany De La Cruz, the league's most dangerous server, at the line. Does it cost them an immediate ace as well? Betty. Nunaviller, perfect pass. Better block that time by Caffey.
Caffey nullifying the opposition. That's a perfect pass in by Nunaviller. Barely had to move, but look at Caffey just waiting, loading, following her middle. She committed early days on that, and it pays off.
Straight one-on-one, no confusion there. The Big Beth remains at the line. Nunaviller flying in. Dug up, and not well enough. Remember, Benet in a pretty good spot. That thing tracking with all that spin off the cable.
Ooh, yeah. The Nunaviller special is that inside the block, barely even passing the 3-meter line. All the spin. Deadly.
Largest lead in this first set we've seen is 2. It remains close. Caffey has the favorite return. The riser, Kayla Hanline, has the stuff block.
This is what's so fun, is to watch these players go back and forth. One time someone will have the upper hand, and the next time, so it's not a blowout. It's never a blowout between these level of players.
Hanline was not a starter to begin the season. She's 5th in total blocks, even lacking some matches. That ball cut crossbody, called out. Boy, a miss, perhaps a critical one there.
Yeah.
For Maddie Kingdon-Richel.
And we're so used to seeing her be calm, be controlled, to make very few errors. That's kind of her calling card, is that she will make her kills, but she doesn't make that many errors. So you're exactly right. Down the stretch, that's a tough time to do it.
Allison Mayfield subs in for the serve. Puts a tough one into play. Some defense now. Ball's tight, low and inside. Hilly to Nunaviller, who cannot get past Bell. Kat Bell has become a force in the last few weeks blocking.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tall player. She's a physical, athletic player, and she's in a good position there. She's just watching, waiting, and I think half of that has to do with taking care of your responsibilities, right? She's not worried too much about what's happening on the other side of court, but as soon as the ball is within her wheelhouse, she's dialed in.
Backslide, nice punch at the top by Hanline. How about that faith shown by your setter?
That fade?
Faith.
Oh, faith. I thought you were making up words over here.
No, big moment. You have a lot of top pins.
Yeah.
Go to the middle.
And that's a strategy you have to stick to as well. You're exactly right. When it gets difficult, when it gets a little sticky, you'll start seeing more outsides and pins get the ball. Stick with the middle. You've got to keep the blockers paying attention.
Yeah, Bell works her way around that one, much to the frustration of Maddie Kingdon-Richel. So we've had only one timeout in this first set. It was a technical timeout at 15. We now are at a set ball with Kat Bell at the line. Lake, perfect pass. Second delivery to the middle. The captain, tough swing. Makes something of it.
She needed that. Her team needed that. I'm fascinated at how this team is sort of going to come together with its strategy. How is it going to be a team? What are we going to see from this blue side?
They need one more. Another set point. Good pass by Member Manet. She'll get it back. Blasted and dug. Nunaviller, clear call. Free ball offered. Blocked by Hilly. We're tied. Yeah, play the monster block for this one.
Let's go. Hilly basically one-on-one shutting down Lecator, and this team has to dig deep. They have to create an identity for themselves, and that's going to help. That one, not so much.
Perhaps a critical miss from Kayla Hanline, who has been tough from the line. 6 aces on the season. Back to set point. Third one. De La Cruz Mejia. Nunaviller fights it off. Kingdon blasts it through. A 64-mile-an-hour serve goes by the wayside with the work of Kingdon Richol.
That's the strategy over and over again. Get Lecator off the line, get Betty off the line. Don't allow them to get any runs there.
Hilly to the back row, nearly had an ace. Defense, chance for the lead. Got it. They fought off 3 set points. Here comes their first, Team Kingdon Richol. And that is cause for a timeout for Team De La Cruz Mejia. It is not easy to flip the momentum on Betty and force her to a timeout.
It's not, but we have seen it before, and I think that has to be in the back of the minds of the blue squad. It can be done. Pressure can be reversed and put back on Betty's side. It all has to do with that first contact. Now, keeping the serve in.
Rookie in Athletes Unlimited Volleyball all the way to week 5 for her first opportunity at the captainship. Here's what Maddie Kingdon had to say about the responsibility she faces this week.
A good team is really more than the sum of your parts. Like, it's not just the talent that each individual player has, but can you be a good teammate? Do you have people who can lead? It's your personality and your character that are the important parts of being on a team. It's not really what you are on paper, but what you can add in addition to that. So being more than the sum of just your parts on the court.
I think that's such a good point, being more than the sum of your parts, because I think we break down on paper the stats that a player has or how many wins or losses she has, but Maddie's saying, hey, I want players that I feel comfortable with, that I know are going to bring good vibes, that I know are going to mesh well together, which is so difficult to put into words, but I think she's done a great job of that.
That's all well and good. How about just a simple stat? 9 kills hitting 500, the captain.
Yes.
That'll do. Savannah.
Kingdon Richol has had such a unique experience within this scoring system. Get this, when you break down how she has moved up the leaderboard, she is second amongst all athletes when it comes to MVP points. She's third in stat points, only behind Betty De La Cruz, Mejia, and Brittany Abercrombie. But in win points, she is 37th in the league out of all the AU athletes. Get this, every single week for her has gone the same. 1 and 2, lost on Friday and Sunday, come back and won a match on Monday. She said this system can be grueling physically, but mentally it can be just as challenging when you're looking at numbers like that. And for her, it has been really important to not let the pressure to win for yourself and your teammates to move up that leaderboard overtake your focus. And it has made earning a captain spot here in week 5 even sweeter.
Well, it's interesting, Maddie was taken on a few different teams by players that are not outside hitters. So first week, she's taken by a setter, Nati Valentin Anderson. Next, she's taken by Nutsara, a setter. Then she's taken by Lecator, yes, outside hitter. But the last week, taken by a libero. So as that big point scorer, she's gone on to teams that were founded by non-pins, mostly. So tough to get wins on those kind of teams.
She's been asked to do a lot throughout the season. Asked to do a lot in this first set. She has responded, hitting 500. Sydney Hilly has 6 aces on the year. Nearly had one a moment ago. Keeps Lekator off the net. Betty from 10 feet is blocked. Kojima with a cover. Captain for the first set. Not yet. How about the hands on Jenna Rosenthal? Perfectly delivered for the set 1 victory. (27-25). It took 4 set points overall, but just 1 for Team Kingdon-Richel to be forever 1-0 under her captainship. First set goes in the record books at 27-25, and that was the largest lead, just 2 points by either team throughout that entire first set. 40 team points going to Kingdon-Richel in this all-important championship and podium chase. Maddie was nothing short of stellar in the first set. 10 kills, already in double figures, hitting 500.
Yeah, and that's what she does. That is just the Maddie Kingdon special. We've seen her do it for other teams. She's been the go-to time and time again. It's just awesome now that she's the one who's put this team together. And so she is earning points basically for herself. She's finally in that captain's role. But again, still going to be a go-to player. She has every weapon at her disposal to be a very difficult attacker.
Look at the match stats. Maddie Kingdon, via her performance, already putting more than 100 points in her pocket. Compare that with Lekator Member-Manet, who's at 11 points, and you start to see some changes here via the overall result.
Yeah, so close, and you see that from the kills. Just 2 between them, 1 ace between them, 1 block between them. These are 2 very well-matched teams. And again, we talk so much about those win points, and it all comes down to that. Who's wearing what color jersey? The winning color jersey is going to get those points and bump themselves up in the chase. So again, Betty, pretty much a shoo-in for one of those top 2 spots. However, everyone wearing whether an orange or a blue jersey, as Savannah outlined on the board, those win points so crucial.
Speaking of colors and not 1980s cop films, fall is here with all the colors of fall, and the AU Pro Shop has you covered for the latest volleyball gear. You need to go to shop.auprosports.com. Get your player merch there, new arrivals, exclusive styles, all kinds of fantastic merch. We've been enjoying the merch store all year long. Shop.auprosports.com. Let's check in with Savannah Collins, who was, I believe, embedded with the Kingdon-Richel squad.
Well, it's neat, especially just after talking about how Maddie Kingdon-Richel has had to fight for her win points this season to come out on a Friday night and win the first set like that. This blue huddle was fired up in between those 2 sets. They really said to each other, we have so much more in the tank. The facilitator, Dave Rubio, was shouting out just, hey, props to you guys for how you handled that game. We saw that first set be back and forth, not a lot of long runs. So to come out and finish and play your best volleyball to win the first set, that's what we have to do. Kevin?
Neither team able to get away in that first set. Key, do you have a reason for why that may have been and what might change in this second set?
Well, I think Savannah nailed it there. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that's really kind of indicative of the whole season. Maddie Kingdon, a good example of that. How she finishes this weekend is how she's going to end up on the leaderboard. But just being really gritty, putting together a team that does not let go, especially when you're going up against a Betty.
Betty and a Lekator and a Cat Bell, all those pins here. Delivery to Lekator, who goes inside with a heater. Look at that leaderboard. That will change as points are scored. Individual points are going to pop up there live. Of course, team points get added at the end of each set, and the overall plus 60 points for our aggregate score. We'll start watching that middle set here. Kojima in. Rosenthal showing her height, standing there, jousting. Childress, nice read. Bell blasting off the edges. What a nice move by Hilly. Both teams a little off balance here. No swing. Best opportunity for Team Kingdon Rishel. She's on the right. Rosenthal. That was soft to the back line.
A little waffle, but hey, you know, whatever works. And I think I was watching some of the faces on the orange side because Betty just wants to get a swing. She does get a little bit frustrated if the points don't come quickly or early. And what this blue team's doing really well, A, tough serving like that, but B, they're defending everything orange is throwing at them. They're making it really tough to get a point, which frustrates her.
Nuneviller, beautiful off-blocker dig. Gets up in front of Dixon, but Tori Dixon cuts it inside for the winner. I think she's had some quiet excellence throughout all of our weeks of play.
Yeah, she's one of the top attackers in terms of middle blockers. She's always getting block touches as well. She brings that experience. she's not a flashy player by any means, but always kind of just getting her job done.
A lot of wins for her this year again. And Renee is long. That'll be a minus number on the service. Service error -8. So I mentioned just 11 points in that first set for Lecator member Renee. The points can come fast and furious when you're, say, getting 10 kills, hitting 500. You can also go the other direction pretty quickly when you're at that pin position. Backslide once again. Good touch by the block. Transition, captain, back row, winner again. Hot hand belongs to 19.
And I gotta keep pointing it out here. The blue side have a target. They have a goal when they go back to serve. They're looking at Lecator. She's passed 18 balls so far. No one else has passed more than 5, and that's the libero. So if you have a strategy, and the blue side are doing this really well, follow it.
Betty gets it, trying to go high. Willow trying to join the kill party. Oh, Lecator, a little soft touch there. That was a little squeeze, I think, on the tip.
The love tap on the tip there. I mean, if you can't get the job done with power, get it done with finesse, and that's exactly what Lecator does there, coming in from the backcourt, and she's looking a little frustrated too. She's looking a little bit like she's seeing that she is being used in the reception and finding a way around it.
That ball is good. That time Willow swings at it. Woo, over the top and down. Yeah, I think you're right, Key. I've watched the body language over here, and Bethany De La Cruz gives that kind of roll forward, especially after a play like this from her opponent. She'll give that roll forward, trying to reset her side. I've seen that a couple times already. Trying to use the middle a lot is Childress. That one rattles through and down.
Well, it's interesting you say that about Betty, because I think we think of her as this really eagle-eyed hawk of a player, but I was speaking to Tori Dixon before the match. She said, hey, Betty does not get stressed. She is chill. She is really relaxed in terms of putting together practices to get the most out of everyone. She's really smart at that. So we might think of her as someone who's stressed. Not the case. She's chill.
Nothing chill about that swing. Cross-body winner for number 22 out of the back row. We welcome Jenna Rosenthal into the chair here. Jenna joining us mid-match. Tell us about the serving strategy for your side. It appears to involve a woman wearing a 22 jersey.
Honestly, the serving strategy is always going to be serving tough, you know, whether it's 22 or not. Because I think the team that is out of system the most is on the ropes, right? It makes blocking easier if you serve tough.
Well, we love talking about blocking, specifically when you've got some guns on the other side. You've got Lecator, you've got Betty, you've got Cat Bell. What's your priority when you go up there and you're looking at those three faces?
We got to make sure we get really strong hands and really good touches, right? Like, stuffs are super fun, but I'd rather touch something for my defense to turn in transition. So, dang it, that was close. See, we're right on it, and I need to be ready to head in real quick. So I say, sayonara. Till next time.
Okay.
Because we're getting this next point. I'm going back in, obviously.
Thanks, Jenna.
No problem. Bye, guys.
Sometimes you got to go. When you got to go, you got to go.
Good pass again. Handline. Ripped it, but just wide right.
She might have jinxed them saying they were going to get that point. What do you think?
Does she have that much power?
Well,
What's the check with Jenna? She might.
If we take credit when we say someone's going to get an ace and they make an error.
She did tell me before the match that she was evil.
Okay.
So perhaps she does have a lot of power.
How so?
She mentioned that she had an evil plan. I said, well, I was unaware that you were actually on the evil side.
There you go. So
Noted.
we'll give her that credit for that serve that went out. Evil Jenna Rosenthal got in Betty's head.
Yeah, back in the match, Jenna Rosenthal feeling better and better as the weeks have gone on. She's about 6 weeks out of surgery coming in. She said, I'm not on restriction anymore. I can play full time, and I'm feeling the best I felt.
Good timing.
Good pass there. She'll work to the back slide, trying to attract attention, and she attracts just enough to open up a seam in the block.
And that speaks wonders about Jenna if she's not even in her full peak physical condition, and she's still, exactly like you mentioned, pulling the block, taking pieces of this game into her own hands, opening it up for her captain there. That's huge. Handline going deep corner. Good touch, opportunity here. Team Kingdon Rochelle gives it to their opposite, and she delivers. It's interesting, I spoke to Willow before the match. She said she's with a new setter again. She's been having to work through a few different versions of setters. She had Nati Valentine Anderson, then she had Marley Montserrat, then she had Maddie Bug, and now she's got Sydney Healy. She is trying to get a new set every single time.
Missed the connection that time, it got thrown back.
Yeah, that's tough. There's a perfect example of it. If you are working with a new setter every single week, you've got to relearn what that setter can give you and what you need as a hitter. She said she's at least happy that Sydney had Brittany Abercrombie last week and they hit a similar ball.
Right, both left-handed as well. That also helps. That ball dug over. Rosenthal will terminate it. Nice asset to have at the net when you're looking at a 6'5" middle blocker attacking overpasses. Hilly back to the line. Overpass again. Betty this time with a dig. Lake equal to the task. And then her captain delivering off that dig.
Great cover by Betty, but again, the serving is the strategy. Get that overpass, get your team in a better position. And this is one of the weaknesses, right? We talked about it in the intro. That was the last time that Betty and Lector were together. That was one of the focuses of the other team. That's how Abercrombie's team took down Betty's that time, was just really targeting her in the reception. And we're seeing it over and over again, struggling to keep that ball in a good position.
10th captain of the 2024 campaign, Maddie Kingdon Rochelle, off to an excellent start. Can they extend the lead here in the second set? Kat Bell trying to reach. She'll go inside off the edge of the block. Done nicely. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Key Michaels. Savannah Collins on the sidelines here in set 2 action. You want to start watching that aggregate score now. First set ended 27-25, so a 2-point lead for Kingdon Rochelle. They have extended that by only 1 here, but keep watching that. 37-34 at the moment. And our individual leaderboard in this championship chase, pop it down on the left. Betania De La Cruz, number 81, in orange, is currently chasing the rookie who is leading Brittany Abercrombie. She'll be in our second match. Kat Bell stretches out right hand. Rosenthal, another overpass, redirect Manami with the play, and that ball is too high, too far, and gone. 11-9. We're still looking for a 3-point lead in this entire match.
Yeah, no one's given up anything, but I do feel like the blue side right now are looking much more in control. It seems as though the orange side are a little more scrambly, having to make adjustments, and they're reacting.
There's a 3-point lead. Now, I agree with you, Key. Why do you think that's happening?
Serve. It's all coming down to the serve right now, and we're talking again and again about the tactics. Find your target, and in fact, we're seeing a substitution now. Lecter coming off, Mayfield coming on to just stabilize that reception just a little bit. I think that's a good idea for Betty.
Betty not afraid to make some changes, and maybe she gets credit for that. Mayfield will immediately go to the back row. Good time sub there. A little passing support across the back row as Lecator gets some medical attention. A little bit of blood, no big deal. Rosenthal in the middle doing battle. That ball was touched, has to go. roll shot picked up by Nuneviller. Johnson a chip and gets a good bounce.
It's interesting because you asked me what the blue team was doing so well. I immediately and confidently said serving, but how about that defense, right? Nuneviller coming flying in to keep the ball alive. So these little things just keep adding up, and the frustration and the difficulty on the orange side is really clear.
And a little bit of tot from your opposite will help. She nearly had a block there on Betty. Instead, Betty snaps down the line. Tot is what you need from your opposite. Those who don't know, that's taking out the trash.
Ah, not like a hot toddy or a tater tot.
It's an excellent idea for later. But it is the making something out of nothing. When you're kind of fed the garbage, the opposite tends to be the garbage can. Just short from Joey Dixon.
I'm curious what the serving strategy is from the orange side, because we've seen some on different players. We've seen some long, some short. I would imagine it's more just, hey, what's your best serve, or what rotation are they in? Try and get someone out of it. That short serve, if it had gone over, would have been a perfect example.
Yeah, to your point, the numbers are supporting that as a blast over the top of the block. Hilly against Bethania de la Cruz, snapped over the top once again. To your point, Keith, Mary Lake 15 receptions. Maddie Kingdon-Richel 8, Brooke Nuneviller 9. So there's no definite strategy there, whereas on the other side, if you look at the receptions, Lekator member Monet 26, Manami Kojima 8.
And those ones from Manami, she's stepped in and taken them from Lekator in a few instances. She had to reach outside of her zone because they're really dialed in on that target.
Brooke Nuneviller puts that one off the hands and out of bounds. And for the second time in 2 sets, we have reached the technical timeout. 15-12, Team Kingdon-Richel with the lead again.
How's life? You living good? You good?
Yes,
you ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's do it, okay? Your little thing.
Which one?
One.
China?
Yeah, your aerobics. No, give him that resting face. That's really high, Phil. No, but really. Hey, it's last week. We're doing it for Betty, you know? Doing it for Betty. That's what, not for me, it's for her. That's for sure. Fun fact. Tori is the best warm-up partner of all time. Let's go! Come on! Come on. There you go.
so selfless, Kat Bell. Not doing it for anyone but Betty. I love that.
The resting face of Kat Bell and the intimidation of Betty. I'm going to crawl under this table. Those are some intimidating people.
Yeah, but you know what? They're smiling 99% of the time. That 1% though, yeah, you're exactly right. Go and hide.
I like the method actor. Give him the resting face immediately. Well done, Kat Bell. Well done.
You're gonna have to get a Kat Bell T-shirt
Next.
to prove that you're an ally as well.
That will be next. There's a push from Kat Bell, and that will be a winner out of the technical timeout.
Creative from Kat Bell there. It's not her best swing. It's not her favorite swing. She'll make something of it.
Betty looking to serve her team back into it here in set 2. Deep corner, fought off Kingdon Rischel. She'll get it right back. Inside the block, Kojima. That's where she lives, right inside the block. And that one is inside the other way. Mayfield, who's subbed in and is going around, pays off. Allison Mayfield, number 15, had a 9-kill performance last weekend. Beneficial there. All right, Savannah Collins, I saw you sneaking into the orange huddle. I don't think anyone else caught you.
Well, it's nice to hear kind of what this orange team is looking for right now. They said, hey, we have to keep pushing. This is a really great team, but we can't let that affect our energy just because that they are a formidable opponent. They're in system a lot. You know, Key, I know you wanted to know what Orange's serving strategy was, so I was looking for that. They started out really targeting Mary Lake, but she's passing super great today. So they're shifting that to Maddie Kingdon Rischel, the captain. Sometimes her balls are given this offense one option, sometimes two. But this Orange team's block is really high, so they have to press because their jump is so big. They're tooling a lot off the block. That was their other focus.
Speaking
Kevin.
of service, Kayla Handline has been really flat throughout the season, and I mean that in the best way when you're serving tight to the net. That was an overpass killed by Rosenthal. Middle collaboration, Key, super excited. Rosenthal got a piece of it. Was it in? Was it out? Just barely beyond the line.
Yeah, Kathy was one of the players also that I was thinking in my mind when I talk about strong serving. It's not just the Lekator, the Bettys who are going to be the top spin servers. Kathy also sneaky good from the end line.
This soft one doesn't go. Mayfield back and an angle hit. Welcome to the party, Allison Mayfield. 3 for 3.
And this is why it's so important when it comes down to those sort of later draft picks. If you have a deep bench, you have opportunities to make changes as Kathy gets an ace. I love when players make it look like I know what I'm talking about. Kathy coming in as one of the best servers. She has barely any spin on that, high on Nunneviller's shoulders.
7th ace on the season for Kathy. That ball worked off the block and out of bounds by Kingdon. The run is over, but the damage has been done. Back in the fray, Team De La Cruz Mejia.
Yeah, it's interesting that Blue is winning this serve pass battle at the moment because 3 of the top 4 ace servers are wearing that orange jersey.
Mayfield, tough pass. She'll try and hit her way out and does just that. You know, when you come in a match, probably try and take advantage of the opportunity. 4 for 4.
Yeah, interesting, and Alicia having to go to her there. It's a bump set from an awkward position. The blockers are in place and still finds an angle past Jenna Rosenthal. Seven service errors right now on the orange side.
Front row of Nunneviller, Johnson, and Rosenthal. Team Kingdon Rochelle. Tip. Lake is there. Nunneviller straight into Dixon. 19 up.
Good move there from Dixon. Doesn't have to do too much, right? Just gets hip to hip with Alicia, and it's just the wrists and the hand going over.
Strategy paying off perhaps in serving. Tip over the top. Bell with that right hand. Ooh. Scooped up by Dixon. Nunaviller, good spot. Where do you go? The captain, back row. Kojima digs it. Over out of the back row. A successful attack, except for that half an inch.
Well, that point was all about the defense. Watch this one. Kat Bell laying out for it and some scrappy play to keep it in play. And another one, Kojima, worth her weight in gold sometimes. I think that final contact just uncomfortably over the line was Mayfield, but she's been fantastic. Change so far on the orange side. I think she'll stay there.
Taylor Burton's taking root into serve. Working down the line to Mayfield. Betty, big windup, and that one's off the antenna. Crucial moment, 21-19. Thomas Robson up off his seat, facilitator with some clapping, looking towards Betty. Betty not remotely thinking of a timeout yet. 21-19 in this set, a little bit bigger, 48-44 in the overall. Right back to Betty. Ooh. Cannot be handled. As was put to me today when I was talking to a few players, they said, well, not everybody can hit like Betty.
Very few people, as it turns out, can hit like Betty.
On the planet.
But when she gets the ball she wants, she's so lethal. And that's a great example of Alicia Childress being fantastic in her experience, holding that middle blocker with her.
Hilly, nice shape to her hands. And Key, here's a game ball for you.
Thanks. Take this one home. Hilly absolutely doing work on her side.
Tough serve to Mayfield. Free ball over for 23. No, Mayfield defends. Cat looking for the corner. Is it long? No, it's in. And we might get a challenge here.
Conflicting answers, line judge versus referee.
Yep.
The flag went up.
Katie Meyer, our R1, can overrule any of the line judges. She has that high position, that high view. And of course, a challenge can be issued, and it is right there by Maddie Kingdon-Rischel. 2 captains' challenges per team per set.
I mean, it's a good idea from Kat Bell going over the shoulder of Willow. Oh, it's so close. Oh, it's so close. I think it might have tagged it from that angle. I think it got just enough.
Overruled, out of bounds. You sound pretty convinced now.
I say in, but I called the last one in, and it was not given.
Right.
It's tough to tell from those angles. They do have a few more looks than we do, but any time that it's questionable, 9 times out of 10, the ball will compress on the line and it'll get that little extra touch.
All right, ball called in. So currently it's 22-21. It would be a pretty huge change to go to 23-20 if this call is reversed.
Yeah.
You would find Team Kingdon-Rischel in nice control of this second set. And that ball confirmed in, so we will stay at 22-21. Cleverly done by the Kahat. 3 hitters to the front row. Childress serving. Tip over the top. Everybody's there. Bell for the put away. She's got it. We're tied here in the second.
Oof, and that one's got to feel so good after being discussed whether or not that last one went in. She said, you know what? Let's just take a big rip at it. This one's for sure.
We were tied at 21 in the first set. Team De La Cruz Mejia had 3 chances to close it. We're tied at 22 here in the second. Blasted through Mayfield, and that has to be a lift, if not 4 contacts. Kingdon-Rischel back to the front row. The captain will be in the left front. Her setter, Sydney Hilly, will be in the right front. Matching up against Mayfield. Hand line in the middle. Betty OT, Nunaviller with the dig. Tough swing. Cannot be had. Betty again. Anami Kojima with the dig off an aggressive swing. Oh, just bombs being issued. What a delivery by Alicia Childress. We're tied again.
You called it. Childress just has her pick right now of whose arm she wants to get hot. Is it Betty? Is it Kat?
We're in for another deuce set. Is it Carpe Diem for the Big Beth? Not right now. The day so far belongs to Maddie Kingdon, who with that kill continues to have an incredible match. 15 kills, hitting 450. Set point for her side, looking for 40 more team points. But the lead will only be 4 should they close this out in our overall score. Thrown back. Rosenthal helps to finish the set, 25-23.
The importance of a solid middle block. There it is, Kevin. Set number 2. Rosenthal all smiles.
52-48, headed to the third set. Kingdon Rishel trying to get out the brooms.
Watch you fly, touch the sky, rise up so high. You must be supernatural. Fly, touch the sky, rise up so high.
Do not be deceived by the score in Mesa, Arizona through 2 sets of our first of 6 championship weekend matches. It is 52-48. The first 2 sets have gone to Team Kingdon Rishel. The maximum lead by either team at any point has been +3 points. The margins are slim. Every player matters. Jenna Rosenthal playing a good role for Team Kingdon Rishel. Olympian Key Michael.
Yeah, we saw her finish off that last set in a blocking fashion, but she's been pretty much all over the court, and this is what is crucial. And we talked about bringing different pieces of the puzzle on the blue side. They are serving tough. She is a part of that. Acing on Lector, getting her off the court even, and then really taking advantage of those overpasses. That's what you want in a solid middle, is when your serving is on, she has to be paying attention, and she's doing that over and over and over.
Maddie Kingdon Rishel is 15 kills, hitting 450. On the other side, a team that's hitting 270. Equal hitting kill percentages here for the squads. Kat Bell is hitting 400 with 10 kills.
Yeah, the stat that's showing in my mind right now are the service errors, though. Team De La Cruz Mejia, 7 errors to 4. So they've just given a little bit more, that tiny little bit of an edge. We've seen Team Kingdon Rishel dialed in on their target, getting the overpasses, getting the aces. De La Cruz Mejia a little bit all over the place in their serving, and that could be the difference here.
Now you can rep your favorite volleyball athlete. I'm doing so right now. You can't get this t-shirt. This is vintage, baby, but you can get a whole bunch of other great stuff at the AU Pro Shop. Every player t-shirt from the entire 2024 roster, both youth and adult sizes, can be purchased. Shop.auprosports.com.
Keyword being shop, Kevin, don't steal.
That's more on that later. Is that what's happening?
Maybe. Foreshadowing.
May or may
Depends
not.
on our producer, Casey.
I don't think there's any proof that was me. Update on the points as we enter our third set here. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Key Michael with Savannah Collins on the sidelines. I mentioned how many team points and individual points had been awarded to Maddie Kingdon Rishel earlier. Currently, she has 203 points. 80 from the victories, 123 stat points. Contrast that with Lecator member Monet, 32 points. Remember, both of them in that log jam for those last 2 podium positions. That ball dug high by Bethany De La Cruz. That's +5 for her score. And Willow Johnson will get 5 there. That one's salvaged by Nunneviller. Scramble back to D. And play some more. Nice dig by Lake. Tough swing for the captain. She'll chip it. Dixon can't get a hold of it. Neither team in their offensive rhythm. Blocked there by Maddie Kingdon. How about some more points? Yeah, 12 of them for that individual shutdown.
Big stuff from Maddie there at the end, but how about the defense of her team, putting her in that position to get a one-on-one solo block? This is the defensive-minded strategy Maddie has put together. She's in the offense, and she got some really solid in the backcourt.
Bell, the hot hand, this time slowed by Rosenthal. Control block. Right side. Just inside the block, well placed in front of Hilly. All that for 2 points. By the way. It's a lot of work for single fries.
And what's interesting, single fries on the board, just one fry per.
Single fries on the board. Heard here first.
One fry, please.
Chipped inside. Kingdom with the kill.
What's also interesting is that we haven't seen Lecator member Monet return to the field yet.
Right.
We saw that change. Mayfield in there. She was fantastic, as you mentioned, not only in the offense, but also just passing that first contact. So now, when you look at the blue team going back to serve, where do they go?
Well, they served that time to Mayfield with success. Mayfield's 4 of 5, but has not seen a swing in a little while. Rosenthal handles that one with the platform. Nunaviller flies in and gets enough of the block. It goes wide.
Maddie calling that out ages before she even got close to it.
Team Arizona looking to dominate on their home court, home soil in their home state. One from Phoenix, one from Chandler, one from Paradise Valley. Betty with the pass, she'll get it back. Thrown over the top, Nunaviller is everywhere. Kat Bell with the pancake. Nunaviller with another +5 for that dig. And the chip, did it go down? No. A charging Kojima picks it up. An opposite and a middle fight for the ball. Willow will get the net and +8. So you get +5 for a dig, you get +8 for a kill, you get +12 for a block. A lot of individual points going on even mid-rally. 4-1 Team Kingdon Rishel looking for the overall win too, that +60. There are team points, there are individual stat points. All of them are added up into your total as that one finds the bottom of the net.
I'm liking the look of this Kingdon Rishel team. I think I said in the intro this was Betty's best team she's put together, but the defense combined with the strength in different creative ways to score, their strong, aggressive serving, this is such a good-looking squad on blue.
Tight line shot, perfectly done by Betania de la Cruz Mejia.
So the question is now, Betty sees what's happened in the last 2 sets. Does she take this into her own hands? Does she start demanding the ball? Does she get that look in her eye and say, no, this is not how this is going down?
9 kills for Betania de la Cruz on 29 swings. She's hit 2 balls out, has not been blocked. That ball thrown down. We've seen a lot of balls kind of pushed to the end line tonight by a variety of different players.
Yeah, well, those tips right over the block, they're not falling anymore because there's such a strong defensive presence on both sides, really, is you've got to look for different corners. You got to go deep. You got to find the sidelines. If something's not working, change it up.
Mayfield has become the target. Kathy, we haven't called her name in quite some time, but another powerful and effective swing.
And that's what Alicia Childress wants more of. She wants to be able to use her middles. And if the passing is on, again, targeting Mayfield there, but a good ball in, that's when you start to see it.
Down through the block goes Nunaviller, and sitting in the chair now, Lecator member Monet. Lek, interesting run here. You're kind of back in a comfort zone with Betty, but you guys got off to a rough start. You were the target early. How did you react to that?
Yeah, I just was learning as I go. At first, he was like, I felt a little bit out of rhythm, but I realized what it was, and I tried to make the I tried to make the change quickly, and yeah, it's just about getting in rhythm. Passing for me is mostly mental.
Now, you've been a captain, or you were a captain for 2 weeks in a row, now back on someone else's team. What's the difference in mentality, if anything, coming into a match as a captain versus non-captain?
There really is no difference. I just always go in and try and execute on my game. Only difference is when you're a captain, it's like you don't have people telling you what to do. You just kind of are expected to do it versus like when you're on another team, it's like whenever you're not on your game, people are like telling you what to do. So I feel like that's the only difference. But my mentality is the same going into it.
Your sub, Allison Mayfield's gotten off to a quick and hot start here as she swings on that one. How can you help her and help your team from where you're at right now?
Yeah, I'm going to cheer her on. Balls to the wall. And if she needs anything from me, I'm going to continue to communicate about what I see, but mostly just cheering her on. I mean, she doesn't need much from me. She's a very talented player, all-around player, and so she's going to go out and do her thing.
Like, this is the first time we've had a chance to chair chat with you, I believe, because you've just been 100% of the time on the court. But you put together some teams and said the vibes were vibing. How are the vibes on this orange side this weekend?
They're coming together. They're coming together. I mean, every team with Betty is a good vibe, like, to be honest. Like, these are all of our friends. I think these are the people I hang out with inside of the volleyball gym and outside of the volleyball gym. And so, I mean, I work really great with these people. I think just getting into the competition right now, we started a little bit slow, but I'm very confident that we're going to pick it back up.
Thanks,
so,
Lex.
Vibes are still vibing.
The vibes are vibing.
Vibes are still vibing. I love that.
All right, Lecator member Monet checking out. She exited the match and was replaced by Allison Mayfield, who promptly has gone 5 of 8 here. Her side still fighting, now 9-6. Kayla Hanline's played a huge role in that with some stuff blocks and now a couple of kills in the last few plays. Hanline puts 10 on the board for the women in blue.
And it's interesting, we haven't really called Hanline's name. She hasn't been a huge part of the offense so far, but that just tells me that everything is working in the other areas. If it's a 10-6 lead and you don't even need your middles, it's a good look for blue.
Yeah, Hanline with 4 kills, 2 of which have come over the last 5 minutes. The aforementioned Allison Mayfield back to serve. Perfect pass. And that ball will be banged off the block and deep. A lot of power on the left side tonight. A lot of balls off the hands and clearing the side of the court on Team King and Rishel.
Yeah, you called it early on. Players going for fingertips, going high. Now they're working that power, just changing things up. I think that's what I like about the offense of King and Rishel's side. We're seeing strong attacks. We're seeing tips over the block. We're seeing those long ones that are falling on the end line. Variety is what's really causing trouble on the orange side.
Rosenthal is stopped. Double block up that time.
Trying to get in the head of the blockers here. Caffey in a good position there. She almost commit blocks on Rosenthal. She's read the game well. The last ball going to Kingdon. It hadn't gone middle in a while. Good timing.
Johnson stretches out, puts it away.
Another mental part of the game. Would Sydney Hilly repeat set? No, so Caffey is immediately gone. Doesn't get that close. Big swing by Johnson, but still reading the game. Look at those nuances.
Another ball chipped off the edge of the block, and a very frustrated Willow Johnson walks away talking to herself and her teammates.
Yeah, let's have a look. How much space is there? Willow leaving barely enough for a ball there. But again, Betty doesn't need much more.
12-10, 2-point advantage. Johnson high through the hands. Nunaviller dug by Kojima. Snap, gone, kill Kat Bell. And Kat Bell collects her 13th kill, and she's hitting about 450.
And she's a great pickup in replacement of Willow Johnson, who was snagged off the board.
Childress with a dig. Lake stretched out with the right hand, but it's dug into the Bermuda Triangle. Left front is where balls go to disappear.
That confused me because I saw Hilly starting to sprint and then stop. Normally, if your setter can't make it, she's got to let you know early or just flat out lay out for it.
Kojima with another nice dig. And they're on it here. The women in orange lead.
And I'm looking at the overall because, yes, Betty's team are down by 2, but they're only down by 3 in the overall. So a big final set here could be huge.
Yeah, updated here, down by 1, 64-61 in that overall, as you pointed out, Key. A 4-point run for Team De La Cruz Mejia. Can they make it 5? No. Nunavilla puts a stop to that.
One-on-one, that's always what you're going to want to see. If you get a free ball for your team, that has to be the result. One blocker focusing on one hitter and getting those kind of results.
Talked about the offensive performances by the women in blue. We have left Brooke Nunaviller off to this point. She's hitting north of 300 with 10 kills, double digits for her. Another nice night. Hand line with a block. Not quite stuffed straight down, but a good chance for her side. Nunaviller leans into it for the conversion.
Well, it's interesting because Maddie right now in the backcourt. So Hilly could try and find her in the pipe, but she's given a perfect free ball there again. So just keep feeding Nunaviller.
11 for Nunaviller, 18 for Maddie Kingdon-Rischel. The lefts, the outside hitters getting it done. Willow Johnson trying to close the line, finally gets it closed, and that ball rattles through her blocker. And as it has been for the previous 2 sets, we're looking at a technical timeout here in the first. A lot of traffic on the blue side of things. Betty's serving right in the middle of it. Kojima, perfect free ball pass. Brooke, big approach, dug up. Too tight. Nunaviller off the block for the winner. For the 3rd set in a row, Team Kingdon-Rischel will lead at the technical timeout. 15-14 this time in the set, 67-62 in the overall.
And the thing is, blue are just picking up everything. The defense is just really firing on the blue side. So they got to get creative.
All right, we'll see how creative they can get. They need to get a side out first. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Key Michaels. Savannah Collins on the sideline, embedded with both teams. Johnson with the dig, nicely done. Scooped right back to the net, looking for the block. Did she find it? Yes, she did. Our officials with the call, and no argument at all from Team De La Cruz Mejia. 16-14, Kingdom Rishel. Keep an eye on that overall score. Remember, if the 22 points go on the board at any point in this set for Team Kingdon Rishel, they're going to win the overall. There's Caffey doing her part to stave that off. All right, let's go to Savannah Collins. She's been with Team Kingdon Rishel.
Well, I know you two were talking about what does this orange side need to do, but according to the blue huddle, the major focus was blocking and having a strategic plan for all of the different options that we talked about that this orange offense has. Dave Rubio focusing in with the captain, talking about hands, being able to push over, making sure you finish, focusing in on Kayla Hanneline, the impact that she's had, and making sure she's aligned up correctly. Key, when you look at this blue side, do you feel like blocking has been something that they've done well and at this point they're just tweaking to perfect, or is there room to grow?
Well, I think what they've done well, Savannah, is they've served tough. So they've put their blockers in a really good position. They haven't been getting necessarily all that many stuff down blocks, but to your point, they're getting touches. They're getting the two bodies in front of the right players. They're forcing the orange side to make some adjustments, and that's been their serving and their strategic strategy since the beginning.
Here's the wild thing. Team De La Cruz Mejia has been a fixture this year. Betty has not lost the first two sets of any match in the entire season. She has only lost to Team Abercrombie twice. That's it. And they are now on the verge of being swept on night one of week 5. Championship weekend, a sweep for the woman in the championship chase, trying to catch Brittany Abercrombie, and now a timeout called by Team De La Cruz Mejia. They've lost control of this set.
Yeah, I'm loving this spot that they've put together. This team that is wearing the blue jersey they're just playing so well together.
All right, we're gonna try it again. Let's go into the game with Sydney Hilly. What's it like to be the setter in blue tonight?
I covered up the black eye today. Looks a little bit better. You ready to warm up your arm, Tay? Yeah, I think we can do a slightly better job of communicating in the chaos. Just like if it's Kat hitting a weird down ball, or like even Tori having to save that. Like, let's just clear it, own it right away. If you can take it, call it, like, and we're in system right out of it. On Tori, on the slide, if there's a gap, so just stay wide and be ready to push forward. I'm gonna go in the hole. Okay, last stay wide.
She doesn't really hit deep across.
Here, I feel like she like blows me up, or she hits it there.
It's sharp, or it's pushes, or it's mishits in the middle. It's never like back here.
Let's make sure we're first to 20 here. That's our goal, first to 20.
Yeah.
Hey, good game!
Sydney Hilly, a big part of the success, but interestingly, first time that she's played with Maddie Kingdon Rishel. So they're finding a way to work together. She's worked 2 weeks in a row with Brooke Nuneviller, so that is really shaping up nicely. I'm so interested that this 3-person combination, Nuneviller, Sydney Hilly, and Maddie Kingdon Rishel, I think they are such a perfect combination.
It's strange that she said the same thing that our producer Casey Carter said, that we need to do a better job communicating in the chaos right now.
The chaos.
The chaos.
It's always chaos.
We need to function in the chaos. All right, and you need to function online. Instagram, follow AU Pro Volleyball. See exclusive content from your favorite players, including highlights, mic'd ups, behind the scenes, and more. Go ahead and follow at AU Pro Sports on social media and use our hashtag if you want.
AU Pro Sports has its own Instagram. Go chat with them. They're very friendly. They don't bite.
It's not a bot, it's a person.
A real person. We met her today. Christine.
Right. How do we end up with a sweep here? We will see as we look on at some of the faces for our upcoming match. That's Danny Drews in the captain's chair once again. Has not gotten a win this year in that captain's chair. Still looking for her first win. It's a tough assignment facing off with Team Abercrombie. But there's her #1 pick, Claire Hoffman right there. for Team Drews. Right now it's Team De La Cruz Mejia fighting for their life on the verge of a sweep. Having the brooms brush them out of the room here at the end of the set.
Unfamiliar territory for Betty De La Cruz.
Indeed, like being on Mars.
Similar amount of oxygen.
Where do you go? Into the middle, dug up. Kingdon Rishel. A confident swing. Manami Kojima got the dig. Lake equal also. One more? One more for Mary, perhaps. No, instead, Mayfield chops it down.
The value of some good defensive players on your team cannot be overestimated, and you see it exactly there. Lake having a sprawl out. Kojima doing the same thing. Just keeping the ball alive is the name of the game.
6 kills for Mayfield, maybe pitching for a role on Sunday. It might be a tough decision for Team De La Cruz Mejia, who to start in that other outside hitter spot when we get to night number 2. Remember, we play Friday, Sunday, and Monday for 5 weeks in a row. This is week 5. Thanks for joining us as we may open with a sweep here in match 1. Match 2 coming up shortly. After this, dig there, Nunaviller. Kingdon off the block, and that's the shot that I started to see last week. A lot of angle and going out across the net.
And Maddie has all of it. She has that. If you give her a bit of space down the line or the cross, she'll take that. If you don't, if the hands are really well placed, full power is her second choice.
21-17. Pardon me, 21-16. Yeah, I thought that score was a little bit wonky there. It's now been unwound. Our official score back on top here, 22-16, and that is the match overall victory right there for Kingdon Rishel. They're now just looking for the full sweep. And they are gonna get it. 23-16 now.
Serving, serving, serving. Handline targeting that deep corner over Mayfield next to Betty. Communication breakdown.
Joust, Hilly wins it for the moment. Rishel. Did she get it? A rare miss.
Well, the orange side is going to take somewhat of a miracle, I think, to come back in this. But this is the question. This is the story for me. Mayfield stepping in for her receiving duties, but getting aced anyway. Now I wonder if Betty starts to look back to Lekator.
Well, she hit 6 of 10. That's a good case, too. Speaking of outstanding performances, that's going to be 20 kills now, hitting 450. Unbelievable for Maddie Kingdon Rishel. We always wonder how a captainship will affect people. It did not, or it made her better. Set point here, sweep point. Not yet. Second sweep point coming up.
It's a good point you make about Maddie. We've seen her excel in almost every role this season. She's been asked to do a lot. She's been taking the shoulder of offense. Now she's taking that captain role, plays it beautifully.
Captain punches it through. It is her night.
1-0 in the history books. As a first-time captain on week 5, Maddie Kingdon Rishel has done nothing but impress week after week, and it is finally her time to shine.
180 team points. Remember, we have 2 races going on, and that result is hugely consequential for both. We have a championship chase between Bethania De La Cruz Mejia and Brittany Abercrombie going on at the 1-2. We have 8 players vying for those other 2 spots. And right now, Maddie Kingdon Rishel has put a stranglehold on that 3rd place spot with a sweep and a win. And she has certainly put a dent in the championship hopes of De La Cruz Mejia.
Yeah, Johnson climbing up the board, but I can't help but think of how this might affect De La Cruz Mejia in the long term. I mean, we're talking about only 3 days left for this championship chase. If Abercrombie can do the opposite, if she can get a couple of sweeps, she's going to lock herself into that winning position, and this could come back to bite. Miss Betty.
That's a great point about the possible sweep. You're talking about 180 points lost here. It could be 180 points gained the other way, and all of a sudden that gap gets massive between those two athletes looking for the championship here in season 4 of Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball. The woman of the night, the captain, Maddie Kingdon-Rischel, has 21 kills, hits 420, adds 8 digs to go along with it. That is a top shelf performance.
The fearless leader of Maddie's Patties did nothing but impress night after night. Week after week, she has been one of the top draft picks, one of the top performers, getting MVP votes, getting every kind of individual performance you can get. Finally now, she's getting those wins, and it really comes down to the team that she chose. She put a lot of faith in some players she hadn't played with before, but saw that potential in a defense-minded squad and took advantage.
I wonder who Savannah has tracked down. Could it be the captain, Savannah?
It is definitely the captain. Maddie, it is a Friday, and you have won the match. How good does that feel?
It's huge for us to start the weekend with a win and just to set the tone for the rest of the weekend so that we can start at a good base and hopefully grow from here.
You had 20 kills tonight. What fueled that kind of offensive production from you?
I think, honestly, our passing was so good tonight, and I was connecting well with Sid, which is awesome because it's the first time we played together. So, yeah, I think like all around, everybody was just doing the job that they needed to do, and that helped me play well.
You told me at practice yesterday you wanted a team that had the will to win. What did you learn about this group today?
I think I learned we have a lot of fight in us and we have a lot of fun, and I think when you mix those two things together, you get a good product, and I'm just so proud of the way that we played tonight.
Definitely. Congratulations, Maddie, on starting your route as a captain on a good one. I'm also joined by Brooke Nuneviller. Brooke, I want to talk some defense. You had 18 digs tonight. This team was a wall at the net and then was just picking everything up. What does it take to be a team that can come out on the first night and play that kind of defense?
I think it's because we were just so well balanced. I mean, like as an attacker, especially tonight, the amount of openings that I had because our middles were scoring, Willow was scoring, like Maddie was scoring relentlessly, you know, and then defense was just so easy tonight because our block was set up so perfectly. So, I mean, it's really fun to play behind a really well set up block because you can dig those hard ones, and they make it so much easier, so much easier.
You know, talking to Maddie about this group, this is a lot of new faces, a lot of people who had not played together. What did it take to have this kind of chemistry, to gel? Was it something in practice, or did it trickle down from your captain? What was it?
Honestly, like the personalities just blend really well together. I think me, Mary, and Maddie did a really fantastic job passing tonight. And then, like I said, our hitters were balanced. So when we're playing really well, it felt really easy. But I think the most important thing was like we let good plays go from the other side. Like when they're bouncing balls like on a perfect pass, it's like, oh well, you know, give them that one, and we moved on really quick. So great group of girls.
Thank you, Brooke. I appreciate it. Kevin Key, back to you. Congrats on the win, girl.
A massive result in our first match. Brooke Nuneviller contributes 13 kills to go with those 18 digs. She is rising up, as well as Willow Johnson with those 180 points, finds herself in 4th. We have one more match to go, and just give you an idea how these play out. 350 points for Maddie Kingdon without MVPs. Betty, 114.
The numbers, again, the numbers will always throw me off, but I'm looking at here, Lekator Member-Monet, even despite not playing, still rose up 1 point. Fascinating. But Willow Johnson now in that fight for a top 4 spot. I think if this blue team can perform in this manner all weekend long, we're going to see a lot more blue faces on that top 4 spot.
Very first time that Dani de la Cruz Mejia has opened a weekend with a loss. Kat Bell has 14 in that losing effort, hits 430. We'll see how they rebound. We'll see how our second match goes. Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball continues tonight on FanDuel Sports Network at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 7:30 on the West Coast. Team Abercrombie facing Team Drews. For Key Michael, Savannah Collins, and our entire crew, I'm Kevin Barnett. Thanks for watching. Championship weekend is underway.